Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to Hawthorne. I'm Julian Slowick, and tonight it'll be our pleasure to feed you.
The curtain rises.
Over the next few hours, you will ingest fat, salt, sugar, protein, bacteria, fungi, various plants and animals, and at times entire ecosystems. But I have to beg of you one thing. It's just one. Do not eat. Taste. Savor. Relish. Consider every morsel that you place inside your mouth. Be mindful, but do not eat. Our menu is too precious for that. And look around you. Here we are, on this island. Accept all of it. And forgive. And on that note, food.
You're listening to The Night Before, a movie podcast. Each episode, we find a unique place in the city and share a drink and our thoughts about the movie we watched the night before. This is Lee, and I am joined, as always, by my husband, Jesse.
All right, I'm ready. Welcome to The Night Before. The night after.
No. What? The night before.
But it's the night after the night before.
Oh my God. The following night is.
The following night.
Yeah, welcome to the Following Night podcast.
Welcome to the following night.
So we are in Dunedin, Florida.
Yes. At Cueing
Cueing
Brewing Company or something.
I want to say this is like our third time here.
Yeah, we've been here a couple times before, but we've never podcast here
It's a small business Saturday night.
after Thanksgiving.
No, we've gone around. We've been in Dunedin a bit. We'll probably only do like half the podcast from Cueing.
Yeah, we're going to kind of hop around during this podcast.
Because we did two movies.
Kind of on a brewery tour
Yeah,
today.
of Dunedin. Well,
A
we're
bit.
staying in Dunedin for the weekend.
Yeah.
But we did two movies last night. This
We
is our.
watched. We
This is,
didn't do the movies.
yeah.
We watched the
this
movies.
is our the movie podcast. The plus noun.
What that means. Anyway.
We watched,
We watched
the
two
menu,
movies.
the
We
menu,
watched the menu.
the invitation.
Oh, I get it.
Or could we say
No,
this?
we have a theme tonight.
It's like our dinner party movie.
and we're
movies.
working this theme into
We're gonna go to a dinner party.
our whole conversation about our drinks,
we
our
accepted
eating,
the invitation.
our food.
No, that's right. We didn't get an invitation. I'm not gonna accept the invitation.
Anyway, so we have a theme
It's funny if you
tonight.
think about it. We do, but you think about it. Both movies. I'm getting ahead of ourselves. We'll just put this thought out there. Both movies revolve around this accepting an invite to something that you don't quite know what you're
that you're
walking
not
yourself into.
fully comfortable with. And we'll go into my feelings
the
about
menu
that.
and the invitation both
Yeah.
involve
That you're not
being
fully aware
invited to
of.
something that you're not. You probably somewhere you probably shouldn't be.
Well, don't give anything away.
I never do.
Anyway,
So we're moving around town. We've already been to a couple places today.
we've been to Dunedin Brewing Company.
Dunedin
We
Brewery.
started there. They had an art show there.
Yeah,
which
we had a
was pretty
drink
cool.
there.
And a drink. And a delicious grouper sandwich. We
Oh,
split
at a
as
little
a snack.
Seafood place
It's like
next door.
Jensen's seafood. It was really fresh, really good.
Yeah, that's what they're calling it.
I think it was Jensen's.
Then we went. We're following. We're in the shadow of a loud
Group.
Christmas party bar crawl group.
Bar crawl, Christmas party, Christmas hats, Christmas clothes, screaming girls.
That we ran into at Dunedin Brewery.
And
No,
we thought,
at Caledonia
Caledonia.
Brewing.
And we thought, let's get their schedule and make sure we're not in the same place. Even though that's rude, but they're a little distracting and they scream like
But
every
we've been going
5
places.
seconds. But of course, we came here, which is really our favorite brewery in
Yeah.
Dunedin.
We picked this as our pre-dinner spot.
Before we go to dinner,
'Cause we're
and
gonna
then
go to
we'll tell
dinner.
you about the menu.
No, we're going to talk about the menu now.
No, but then we'll tell them
the
about the
menu.
menu of
Oh,
where
okay.
we eat.
Sure. We're not going to quite as fancy of a restaurant as the menu,
No, definitely not.
but it'll be good dining.
But I think the restaurant we're going to is going to be kind of nice.
It's like not casual dining, but it's like,
Casual fine dining.
yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, casual fine dining.
Yeah. I'm not going to have quite the dishes that the menu movie
No.
had.
We're not spending like $1,250.
Yeah, was
a person?
that much per person?
Yes.
Okay. To me, that doesn't really seem like that much.
Not
it would
for
be
that experience.
Yeah, it should be
no.
more like 12,000 a person.
That's way too much. I would think it
No.
would be more like 5,000 a person.
Does
Because you have the boat. You're on this island.
That's what I'm saying. For such an exclusive thing, it shouldn't be like
12.
just 1,200, 1,250 per plate, gratuity included.
You can often go to really nice restaurants just around here and spend $500 a person.
That's what I'm
if
saying.
you do like a really nice bottle
This
of wine
is
or
a boat
like,
experience. I mean, I'll be honest though, if that's the only thing we're grappling with this movie and like the realisticness of it. The only problem it has is that they undercharged for dinner. Then maybe, yeah, then it was a different movie. No, but I did think even when they said it at the beginning, I thought it was a little too cheap for the experience.
Yeah.
I think because I was like 1,200. Clearly, it meant 12,000.
Well, you immediately understand.
Because it was a 6 or 7 course meal.
Definitely a 7-course meal. You immediately understand that it's a mockery of like, overly wealthy.
Yeah, no,
people.
it's a satire about
Definitely,
fine
yeah.
dining, high privilege.
You know.
But before we get going, what are you drinking? We're at Cueing Brewing.
Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a
Hazy Session IPA.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's your basic hazy session.
I'm bringing back
It's
the
nothing
dill
special, but it's
pickle
good.
sours, as I did in our previous episode.
Yours is really good.
The Grindhouse, when we went to the Grindhouse episode where I had their pickle sour.
Mm-hmm.
This
That
one,
was a little. I mean, that was good, but it was
it was really pickly.
really pickly. This is not.
This is jalapeno. It's like, what is
more-
it like?
Jalapeno.
Try my sticky pickle or spicy pickle or something. That's what it's called.
Watch my spicy pickle.
I think it's try my spicy
Try my
pickle.
spicy pickle. Watch my spicy pickle.
But it's
By the way,
jalapeno.
Remind me to order the pickle magnet with Nicolas Cage's face on it
With whose face?
for Julian.
With whose face?
Nicolas Cage.
Why does Nicolas Cage have a pickle
I don't know, I found it and I saved it.
on the internet?
It's gonna be a stocking stuffer.
On the internet?
It's a pickle. It's like Pickleless Cage or something.
Okay,
don't know.
now I
It's
get it.
like
Okay,
something
now that makes
funny
sense.
that I thought would be a good stocking stuffer. Anyway, go ahead.
Speaking of which, let's jump back into the menu. Let's just get right out into it, right?
All right.
Better film that critiques. We're
Food.
getting a little closer to the end of the movie about the love of cooking
Mm-hmm.
and the art of cooking and the memories. And again, it's not meant to be a satire, but Pig, much better movie about that. Did you watch Pig?
Not really. I don't think I did. I think
How have I
Okay.
seen Pig twice
you
and
watched
you haven't
it
seen
with
it?
Julian.
Yeah, how have I
And
seen
then
Pig twice?
think I watched it with you, but it was a night that I kind of slept through a lot of it.
Oh, so we
But
got to watch
I
Pig.
know it's a good movie. Yeah, I know.
The whole time I'm watching, not the whole time, as the menu starts to, which you know where it's going, as it starts to get to its resolution
Core
or its
message.
message about Ralph Fiennes' character, the chef, I'm like, I get it. It's like bringing back working in the service industry, serving people, cooking for people
Burns you out.
sucks the joy out of
The actual
any
cooking.
sort of art creation.
We know this.
Hank, we had a conversation earlier about potentially commissioning an artist to do a painting.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was like, no, we don't. You don't tell them what you want.
No, you don't tell them what you want. You buy something that they've created, because
Right.
then you're not.
Yeah. So better
You're
movie.
not buying their idea. They're the artists.
Yeah.
Who are we to tell them what colors and what
Yeah.
to do?
Even though he was like, hey, tell me what colors you want. I'll do it.
Well, I'll do anything for money.
He started tap dancing in the middle of the street. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't even know where he
Anywho.
he did.
Yeah.
True story.
True story. Anyway,
But no, Pig better movie about the theme of the emotional impact cooking can have. But anyway, this was
yeah,
a
but
satire.
this is
Pig's not a satire.
More a dark humor, obviously. Dark satire.
So let's do this. All right. We got to get one thing out of the way.
Yeah.
So often you hear people say, because another movie which we did a podcast about, Barbarian, had this same tag tied to it. The less you know about this movie, the better. Just go in blind.
Oh, so we went in blind to this movie.
Right.
I mean, obviously we knew it was something about food because it's called
Yeah, you know
the
it's about
menu.
food, but
we definitely went in blind,
Some
which
of the-
I love.
okay. No, I like going into movies
Because-
blind in general. For example, even there were a lot of trailers for things.
And I am not a trailer
gosh, I
person.
know.
You love watching trailers. I
If they're
don't
good.
because I feel like the trailer gives too much away.
Well, some movies.
If it's a good movie, it doesn't.
So let's do trailer recap. Number one, something. Oh,
We're at a brewery.
that's weird. We're at a brewery. Why are there dogs here?
Because dogs love sitting at breweries.
No, adults love bringing their dogs to breweries.
Ah,
Trailer recap.
okay.
There's some trailers, and we saw a couple. We saw Violent Night, the Santa Claus movie, which looked hilarious.
A couple. We sat through like 30 minutes of trailers
I know, but I'm then a couple highlights.
before the movie.
So that one was like the narrative trailer where it kind of sets up what happens.
Mm-hmm.
There was another trailer we watched. I can't remember what it
Babylon.
is. No, we're not there yet.
Oh,
Some other movie trailer we watched, and it was, we know what happens in that movie now, beginning to end.
you don't got to see the movie. You
Gotta
don't
see it.
have to see
Another
the
narrative
movie.
trailer.
Yeah.
But I thought there were two really good trailers that you saw enough, and I still don't know what they're about. Babylon's one.
Babylon. That made you want to see the movie. That trailer made me want to see the movie.
Right?
For
But
sure.
what's Babylon about?
I have no idea. But
Right?
I want to see the movie.
Okay. It's something about like 1940s, 50s movie making,
Nobody knows.
something.
Whatever
Brad-
it is.
Brad
can be
Pitt's in
good.
it.
Brad Pitt's in it.
He's like a movie star.
Come on. Brad Pitt's in it.
But it looked good. Oh, that was one you knew it from beginning to end. The violinist movie,
Oh, yeah. That looked good.
which it looked good, but you're like,
well, you
I
know what happens.
I kind of know the whole movie.
Yeah, you know what happens.
The other one, The Whale,
Oh, yeah. With
Brendan Fraser,
Brendan Fraser. That looks good.
the Aronofsky film.
Did he really gain that much weight
Yeah,
for the movie?
Yeah.
Wow. It's probably unhealthy to gain that much weight and then
Well,
lose it.
I'm gonna say, not knowing much. I mean, I don't think he was Christian Bailing it, where he had to gain a bunch because there was a lot to gain.
He had already had.
I
put
feel
weight
it was a
on.
smaller step.
Okay. But then he had to lose it. I'm sure he's not that big
He,
still.
he's lost, from what I've seen, at some of the movie, at like the Cannes movie premiere stuff. He doesn't look that heavy, but he still has some weight on him.
Yeah, that movie looks really
But
good.
again, you don't really. So there's the narrative trailers, and then there's the thematic trailers.
Yeah.
Like the
and
tone, they set a tone.
I like the thematic trailers, not the narrative trailers.
So the menu, I don't even think we
even saw
We
a
didn't even watch
trailer.
a trailer for the menu,
No.
right?
I had somehow
So
heard
is
about
it good?
but
It's good going into movies blind.
I like going into movies blind.
Good or
if I
bad?
know it's on the wavelength of something we might enjoy.
Good or bad?
What?
Like it's good going in blind, good or bad.
Yeah, but like I'm not gonna be like, oh, what's this Marvel movie? I'm going in blind.
Well, you already.
Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I have to at least know, like, thematically, it's probably something we're into.
But what I'm
And
saying
I
is,
think the menu, we knew that.
but did we know it was? I don't think either one of us knew, and I usually know a bit more than you do. I don't think it was going to be that dark of a film, or that like over the top. I didn't think it would be that over the top.
Going in, I did not know it was going to be that over the top. No.
But so my question is, I agree. Too many times, even when something's spoiled for me, it doesn't matter. But so I think there's something to be said. Like, and I think there's a difference between someone talking about a movie, and maybe this is us setting up that we might spoil some things for the menu. But I think there's something different when you hear people talk about a movie, and even if they're kind of painting the corners, if you will, right? They're not filling in the middle, but they're painting in all the sides.
Right.
I think that helps versus when it's visual, when it's auditory and you just hear people discuss it.
agree.
But when it's visual and you actually see the images,
You're like, feel like you've seen it.
or when a trailer's cut together in one way, like The Invitation, which we'll get to later, I felt that trailer was cut in a way that suggested things in the film that never happened.
Right.
Like a direction the film never took.
So you expect one thing, but you get something else, which
Yeah.
is the point of them doing that in the trailer.
No, I think it's just the point to get you to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be a come over to dinner and it's a group orgy movie.
Orgy?
Yeah.
Is that what you felt like?
Well, I thought it might go that direction.
Okay.
I mean, it cut to the scene where there's all the like people running up the stairs together, and then there's like, we're already in The Invitation. There's the cut of like him looking at his ex-wife.
You're
through
talking about the
window.
Invitation.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? The trailer was cut in that way.
I thought maybe it could go there as well. Yeah, for
But
sure.
anyway, we get to that later. But so my point or my question is, so when someone says going in blind, to me that means you can't know anything about this film.
We didn't.
I know, but that's what people said about the menu. My question is, do you think that prerequisite is necessary for the menu?
No. I don't know. I
No,
don't know
because-
what the trailer said on the menu.
No, not even. I don't know either. But I'm saying not even that point. I'm saying when someone says you've seen the movie now, would you say, hey, you need to go complete media blackout on
Yes.
this thing? You do? Like,
Yeah.
what is so revolutionary reveal in this movie that you're like, oh my God, I'm glad that wasn't spoiled for me? Because to me, what's the point of saying you need to go in blind?
no.
It's because something's going to surprise you in this
Okay,
movie. Nothing's.
You're being too black and white about it. I'm saying I personally enjoy going into
Okay,
movies.
no, but
blind.
you're missing my point. My point is not, yes, I get that.
But do you need to? No. I mean,
I'm saying for this particular, is it good to not have everything spelled out for you before you go in the movie? Yes.
yeah.
In general, yes. I'm saying, but certain movies people earmark and say, you can't know anything about this because it's going to surprise you.
So no, then.
Is there anything surprising about the
I
menu?
think there are surprising
What?
things at the menu. I mean, a lot of things are surprising. Because I went in blind.
I went in blind too, but I'm like semi-rolling my eyes through half of it.
I thought there was surprising stuff. I wasn't rolling my eyes.
So what do you think within the first like 10 minutes, where do you think this movie's going?
I don't know what we should say about the end. I guess the ending, the conclusion, when like halfway through when they said what the conclusion is supposed to be, that was surprising to me. I didn't think that's where we were going in the movie.
So the menu opens and they're going to like a fancy dinner.
Mm-hmm. Now, I knew right away something bad was going to happen because she keeps looking back at the boat. The boat takes off. They're locking, she looks back at the door when it closes. So you know something, they're going to feel trapped or abandoned. Feel like they're going to all be like abandoned on this island. And you know something bad's going to happen.
That's
At the very, very beginning, you know that. Feeling.
That's my point. It's like I get what I'm trying to say is I get that, yeah, you don't want to like spoil movies for people and trailers spell it all out, right? But there's a difference between like, oh hey, there's this movie like our last movie, like Decision to Leave, right? You don't fully know what it's about, but you know enough, like, okay, it's about a detective and there's some sort of murder that he's investigating,
No,
and he gets entangled, right? And you're like, cool, I don't need to know how it all ends. But when people put the label on it that you don't want to know where this goes,
I don't think
this is that kind of movie.
Good enough to
That's
say.
what I'm trying to say.
Oh, you don't want to know.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, I enjoy going into a movie not knowing. Yes. Do I think I enjoyed it more in the fact that I didn't know what it was about? Yes, probably.
Okay. So,
but would I say you need to go into this movie blind? No. I mean, it's not good enough to say
that's what I'm trying to get you at. That's what I'm trying to get you to say, to see if you feel that way. Because here's the movie, within the first 5 minutes or even 10 minutes, you quickly get set up that every single person attending this dinner party are unlikable, despicable people.
Exactly.
And any screenplay, unfortunately, when every person gets set up that they are unlikable people, except for your Anya Taylor-Joy,
Right.
who's your outsider, who comes
Not
from a
even
different
supposed to be there.
comes from a different social class from everybody else, who you as the audience member identify like, oh wait,
with more.
she's not stuck up like the rest of these people. When you know that, you go, oh, bad things are going to happen to all these people, right? This is not going to be a movie that celebrates them. It's
No.
going to, and there's not going to be
They're
any
making
real
a mockery of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because of that, I feel you know that it's not going to go well, this dinner.
Yes. You definitely know that. But the things that happen throughout the dinner are surprising. Yeah.
Oh, it escalates.
Yeah. The way it escalates, the things, it's comical how it unfolds, I guess. And it's not, like it was an entertaining movie. It wasn't a great movie, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
entertaining to sit through.
No, it was
wasn't-
fun.
Like I wouldn't say don't see it.
I think you rent it. You
would-
don't go to the theater for it.
We did.
I know we did. But we have our A-list pass, so we pay for that.
That's true. No, you don't have to go to the theater.
I don't know.
for it. It's
I mean,
definitely
maybe
a
I
rental.
was a victim of some of the people like, this is going to be really good. The menu's really good.
Yeah, I don't think it's really good.
I don't think it's bad.
Like
Here's
I
my
said,
problem. Here's my problem.
I didn't fall asleep through it.
I don't enjoy movies that let me get the message in a minute. I don't enjoy movies where all the characters are unlikable. I'm okay with unlikable characters, but it's like, does every single one of your characters has to be a douchebag? Like, to me, there's no subtlety in the writing, or there's no subtlety in the, like you brought up, like, hey, I'm being black and white about I'm being black and white about that moniker, like going blind, don't know anything about this movie. Thing people use. But in order to do bad things to characters, do you have to make them all despicable and terrible? Like, can you find the gray area? Like,
But I
hey,
think
can
that
bad
was
things
the-
happen
that
to
was the-
semi-good people?
That was the over-the-top mockery of the higher class elite
Mm-hmm.
type thing. They were showing the different situations of elitism.
I know. Well, that was the thing.
at each
Everything was
table.
so.
But
I mean,
it was so expected.
That's because you had your table of John Leguizamo, which I loved in this movie. This is like one of my favorite John Leguizamo roles.
Who's he? I don't know who he is.
Who is John Leguizamo? Check, please.
Which
Sorry,
one
we're closing
was
our
he?
tab.
Which one was he?
He was the washed up movie star.
Oh, okay. I figured, but I just wanted to make sure I knew who you were talking about. I'm not as I don't know him.
You don't recognize John Leguizamo? We're gonna have to go down to John Leguizamo.
Semi-recognized.
But hey, maybe that's fitting. Maybe he was the perfect casting for the movie then.
Yeah. Washed up movie star.
So anyway, he's the washed up movie star who's just an a-hole,
Yes.
right? He's like mean to his assistant, but super dependent on her. So you're like, okay, he deserves whatever's coming from to him. And then we had
the
three.
3 athletes.
Were they athletes? No, they were like business dudes.
I think they were athletes that had money that were doing a business ventures. Because at some point they were talking about. I
About
think
what?
they were athletes of some sort.
Oh, I thought, but they were connected to the finance or the owner of the restaurant.
Yes. Yes.
Because they pulled the whole like, do you know who we are?
Yeah.
Regardless, they were like
Regardless,
they were
they had high power money people.
Yeah.
But young bros kind of guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they had the super pretentious, stereotypical restaurant reviewer
Yes, with her assistant.
who
or
agreed
whatnot.
with everything she said.
Yeah.
It was funny. It was comical.
Yeah, that was comical. That was
You
good.
know,
I
her
think they were
sort
the
of
best ones.
commentary. You had your like
Super
rich-
wealthy guy.
super
and
wealthy
his
foodie.
wife.
Oh no, I'm talking
Oh.
about the super wealthy foodie
Yeah.
who was sort of doesn't really know anything about cooking, but knows everything about cooking.
And knows everything about food and
Knows
is
all
obsessed
about the
with
technique because but he hasn't because he can afford to buy it, taste it, do it, but can't
cooking.
cook it himself. And then the old rich couple.
That he has had affairs and.
Well, not
you
even
know.
that, but just don't even appreciate what they have.
Right.
Right,
They come to this place a
They're
ton.
the regulars.
They come to that place a ton and
Judith Light. That's what I was looking.
Yeah,
Judith
and
Light
they
is the wife
don't,
from Who's the Boss.
they don't really appreciate the fact that they
And
just
then the
kind of
old-
mindlessly sit through the meal even though they're paying a ton of money
And then the
for it.
chef's old drunk mother in the corner.
Yeah. Drinking like bottles of wine till she passes out.
So that's what I'm saying. Everything, but I guess when you do like a satire, you have to set up all the tropes and the stereotypes.
Yeah, I mean,
and-
it's the exaggerated versions of all those
Of
types
all roles,
of
yeah.
people. Yeah.
Which, on a side note, we do want to see in comparison the triangle of sadness.
Because that's the other thing, like making fun of these.
They're all on that
elites.
cruise, the elite on the
But
cruise
it's
ship.
more on the fashion industry and whatnot.
Yeah, and it's just and you see in that trailer, you know, bad stuff's going to go down as well. I think people search your social media. I think people are photographing us podcasting
Really?
right now. I was just watching it. We'll see.
Nice.
Side note, I guess when our picture was
not
being
gonna look
taken.
back.
Don't. When our picture was being taken, I was like, I think they're taking our picture.
Interesting.
So anyway, but I also view some of my criticisms on the movie as nitpicks anyway as well. I also tend to just enjoy a movie, like just go along with it.
I did not enjoy the movie. I enjoyed the movie, but it was very uncomfortable. The movie was very uncomfortable.
Was it because we were sitting so close in the theater?
No, not in that way.
Second row.
No, I know. It was an uncomfortable movie for me. Like I guess the one putting yourself in Anya Taylor-Joy's place. It was very uncomfortable. I mean, the guy she was with was treating her horribly.
Yeah.
Horribly.
Everything was over the top. I'm like, I don't even think even someone like
would
him.
she even come back and sit down?
Well, she was kind of, she didn't
mean,
have a choice.
She had to, but it was
That was
kind
one
of like-
interesting thing that the movie talked about, right? About like the complicity that everybody had in the politeness of kind of that culture.
Right, where people don't want to cause a scene.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to just go by
And
the
Ralph
rules.
Fiennes' character's even like, you all have gone along with this the whole time.
Yeah. Like,
You sort of, and there's some funny stuff. Not to interrupt your thing about
no.
Anya Taylor-Joy,
Yeah.
right? But there's funny stuff. Man's Folly, that was funny.
Yes.
The Dish Man's Folly,
Yes.
and having the men run and being chased. That was
Yeah.
fun. Funny.
Funny. Yeah.
Anyway.
And when it was just all the women hanging out, it was kind of like relaxed atmosphere. Everything was fine. And then the men came back, and it was oh God, here they come. They're coming back. And everything seemed to kind of be more on equal footing when it was all women there. But then the men bring another level to it because there's expectation of and secrets between like the married couple and expectation of.
Well, that was one of the things about the movie. Yeah, that I didn't enjoy as much is that like, oh, you're all here, you're all selected for a reason, right? It becomes almost like a horror movie, like a Saw movie, right?
Yeah.
I would just take it like these are rich people who are doing an extravagant meal, but not really for the food, except for the foodie.
Yeah. He was in it for the food.
The rest were there just for image and to say they were there. One even person was like, "This is not very good," but hey, we're paying for the experience. And to say that we're here.
Like mockery of it was like the non-food plate that like it was the
no
dish
bread.
that really had like no bread on it.
No bread.
And it was just like little dots of like dipping things to dip the bread in. And it was like, yeah, when you go to some of those, and even like the dish that you were eating, the foam.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just a mockery of like, oh yeah, this is great. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
those
It's
fancy
foam.
restaurants.
It's
High
not
prices,
great.
small
It's not
portions, deconstructed
good.
food.
It's foam or it's like liquid.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Like I said, and that's what I mean. It's like, what's the best way to deliver that message? Is it a movie like The Menu, or is it a movie like Pig? Right? Do you do
definitely like Pig?
Do you do more serious? Because Pig had those same messages, right?
But it was a serious movie.
But it takes it very serious versus The Menu, which just has the same message. Like, no, let's
just
do
a
that
completely
message.
different
Yeah, it's apples and
genre.
oranges.
I mean,
but
I
like,
think both can deliver that message. It's what you prefer.
Yeah, the best style.
Hearing it that way.
Yeah, the more anti-establishment types might really dig The Menu.
Right. Yeah.
Down with the man.
Mm-hmm.
Let it all burn. So they'll be happy the way the movie ends.
True. You loved you with the
I'm
ending.
not. No, your responses spoil
Oh
it,
my
not
God,
me. You could be like, oh yeah, that's one take.
Okay.
That's one way to do it. Do you think? Why do you think Ralph Fiennes signed on for this movie?
I think he's a good person for the role. I mean, he's very like stoic. And
I'm saying they might have
serious.
wanted him, but do you think?
He's pro the message of that.
Mr. Schindler List himself.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he is. We don't know
He's
him
from
personally.
Ralph Fiennes is in Schindler's List.
Maybe he's anti-elite. You know,
Yeah.
even though he is Hollywood and in the elite, maybe he's anti-elite. You
Yeah.
don't hear a lot about him, do you?
Yeah.
In the media and whatnot.
Well, no, he was good in it. I thought it was like a weird, like he brings a level of like prestige to the movie.
Prestige and seriousness.
Yeah.
That we're like, oh, this
Or
guy
expectation.
is-
Like he
yeah,
does validation.
this
He
guy's
validates
good.
it.
Yeah.
And for a movie that is, to quote like one of the main dishes, like a movie that's kind of messy.
Interesting.
The mess.
Yeah.
Like he brings a certain level, of just credibility to it all.
And interestingly, he plays like a crazy person pretty good.
He does.
He really does with his smile and his like seriousness through the craziness of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, he like really he really plays a convincing crazy person.
Yeah.
He really does. Like his acting was good. I felt
And I
like.
thought he was great. I thought everybody did a good job in it. And I guess that's the point of it. You have to kind of just pause, suspend your disbelief, for the movie in general. And just go along that this is a satirical allegory about,
Yeah, you have to understand that it's over the top.
because none of it, if you stop and think about it for a second, like the price of the dinner, none of it quite makes sense.
True.
If you really stop and think about it.
Right.
But I thought, but it's a very funny, dark comedy.
It did make you kind of hungry through the movie.
Which we went and ate dinner afterwards.
That was the best part of the night.
The best part of the movie was the dinner.
Our dinner.
Yeah.
After the menu.
menu.
Yeah. So riding there to the movie, we saw this lighted food truck area near theater, which we had never seen before there.
Well, because it was like,
It's like
in essence, like not an abandoned building, but like a non-purposed.
right.
commercial
so
building.
on the way back, it was kind of like 9 p.m. maybe.
Yeah.
We were like, we should stop there. Or I was like, turn
Yeah.
around, let's stop there. Let's see what this place is all about, because every time we come out to this theater, there's nowhere to eat around it.
Well, nowhere
That's-
that's not like a.
Nowhere that's not good. I mean,
Yeah.
nowhere that is good.
Yeah.
Like, not a chain or something like that.
Oh, they're all like sports bar-y type
Right, yeah.
places. Yeah.
So we stopped, and it was this, it's called the Empire Plaza
We learned that after the fact.
on Anderson Road in Tampa. And it has all this different, like, Latin American food trucks. Most of them are Latin American.
It all
of
was.
some sort. All of them were.
Mhm.
Yeah. And, like, a really nice, like, court area to sit in, and then an inside area with ice cream and a
Yeah.
little food store. And it was really like music playing, and it was
Yeah.
really festive. And we ordered this sandwich that was, I'm still thinking about it. It was
Well, it's
called
funny.
the Peruvian.
Yeah, a Peruvian, a little truck that did sandwiches inspired by different regions of Latin America.
Uh-huh. So it was like ceviche type sauce, but it was
Pork
pork
belly.
belly on like Cuban bread.
But
basically.
like the chef in the menu, he wanted to
was
give us a story
into
about
it.
all
Every
the
single
and the
sandwich he
meat
gave
and
us
how
a
it was
story about.
prepared.
So we were like, I mean, the hospitality at that food truck court was amazing. Then we got this delicious rolled ice cream
Yeah.
called the Jumanji. That was
So
really
it was good. Yeah, we had a good food
After
experience
food
following a
experience
movie
after.
about food.
Really good.
Yeah.
So that was fun. It was a really fun night. Even though
Yeah.
the movie wasn't like A+, it was a fun night in
Yeah,
general overall.
like I said, I'm torn about it. Like I do, like you, I would recommend it. I guess like the meals in the menu. I wish it had a little more substance in the film.
True. I like that
I
metaphor.
wish, you know what I wish it was? I wish it was like a really good cheeseburger. Is what I
True.
wish, right?
I do wish it was like a
Right?
really good cheeseburger.
Like just a really good
with
cheeseburger.
a lot of substance in
Yeah.
it. Just a lot of juice,
Right?
a lot of
Instead of the
A
plates being
solid-
served in that movie, like a solid cheeseburger is what I wish it was
that
more
would have
like.
been good.
But
That
it
would've
wasn't.
been
It was more like the dishes that were being served.
good metaphor.
Not you like that? You
And
like how I
then-
came up with
and
that?
then- Yeah.
All right. Well, our drinks are empty, and so we'll probably pause and move on,
Move on
To
to
our
our
menu.
dinner place.
and then we'll podcast post dinner about The Invitation. 2016's The Invitation,
2016
because we came home after the food truck village
experience.
and
Had a nightcap
watched another movie.
and watched The Invitation.
Bars on the windows and no.
Well, I was here alone for a while. Security. Safer.
It's nice.
Thank you. We got them in Mexico.
Is that where you've been for the last 2 years?
Some of the time. Did you worry about me? Did you think about me?
Yeah. I did.
Well, I'm fantastic. I've never been better. You don't have to worry about me anymore.
All right, so we've had dinner. A lot of
Person.
time has passed since we talked.
Right. So
20
we had
seconds
dinner.
ago
We had dinner
on
at
the
a place
podcast.
called Crown and Bull.
Bull and Crown? Crown and
Something
Bull.
like that. Crown and Bull. It was delicious.
It's kind of cool, kind of like a hip American vibe.
All the
Cuisine.
food, local.
Locally sourced.
Sourced, organic.
You sat outside in a circle around a big live oak tree.
It was beautiful.
It was nice. I mean, there was a huge tree outside.
Yeah, I had salmon.
Mm-hmm.
You had a burger.
A brie burger.
Speaking of
They call it,
burgers,
like,
because we
Breeze.
just talked about burgers.
I know. I said how great a cheeseburger would be.
So you had it.
So I had a cheeseburger.
with brie, not American cheese.
No, but I had a cheeseburger. Was this still a cheeseburger?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Again, not
And
not quite the culinary experience that the menu was.
No, but it was delicious and really well. Good
Mm-hmm,
atmosphere.
Didn't get to meet the chef though.
No, who knows? Ooh,
So anyway,
excuse
so we
me.
moved on.
We are at
We
a
want to talk the invitation. We're at a place called
Woodwright,
Woodwright Brewery.
maybe.
All I know is a very relaxed place outside. They have all the Christmas trees out and lit up.
Yeah, it's
It's
beautiful
cool.
out here. The courtyard is really festive and it's chill. There's like a fire pit in the middle.
Yeah. Though it's probably like 73 degrees outside
Yeah.
right now.
But it's a brewery. Just beer. It has a German vibe.
Yeah. My one observation I had while we've been sitting in here, we drinking our blackberries, our blackberry sour by Marker 48. Is this is the kind of place, and then you can look at every table and confirm.
Okay.
This is the kind of place that
You bring your dog.
no,
Oh.
even though there are some dogs here. This is the place that young, late 20 to 30-year-olds bring their parents.
Bring their parents. Okay.
Every table, you're supposed to look and confirm.
Well, it's the holidays too. A lot of
I know.
people's parents
But-
or family is in town.
But every table is that
is true.
situation.
This
Every
is
single
true.
one. Minus ours.
So young 20.
We're the weirdos
early
sitting in the back
30-year-olds
speaking
with
in microphones.
by ourselves with books
Yeah.
and beer
We
and
bought a book. We stopped by a bookstore.
stopped by a bookstore, bought a book that we're excited to read. And anyway,
So we got home
last night after the menu.
and we jumped into a second movie, 2015's The Invitation. Because there's a newer film called The
There's a
Invitation
2022 one.
about
So I got
vampires.
confused when I was looking it
Yeah,
up.
I knew when I got home that we had to watch a movie called The Invitation. I just didn't know which one it was going to be.
So it was 2015, not 2022, The Invitation.
Not the new one.
Right.
But all I know is I wanted to watch something kind of in a similar
Similar
vein.
theme.
And so this was the dinner party idea we talked about
So
earlier.
the concept is friends that haven't seen each other in
2
over
years.
2 years, but we're all friends before for the most part.
Yeah, a traumatic event happened that separated everybody.
Event happened that separated them for 2 years, and then they haven't seen each other, and they all get this kind of official looking
Well, but at the same time, kind of cryptic invitation.
invitation to get together at one of the woman's house. And the main character, it's actually his ex-wife,
Yeah, they separated following the death of their son.
following the death, which was a traumatic event.
Yeah, 2 years prior. He hadn't
And
seen
that
her in 2
kind of-
years, hadn't seen the friends in 2 years, hadn't been back to the house in 2 years.
So that kind of broke up the friend group.
And it's one of these movies, like, I'd heard some things about The Invitation.
I had not.
I know, but just through the various things I pay attention to, like, The Invitation comes up every once in a while.
Okay.
But it's directed by a woman named Karen Kasuma,
Okay.
and she directed a movie really like called Jennifer's Body
Oh, okay.
that I think is really good.
Okay.
And
So
starring, what's her
again,
name? The one, Megan Fox.
Oh, Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you meant in the
No, that's in
Invitation.
that's in Jennifer's Body.
Yeah.
And that
so-
movie's really good. And so The Invitation I had heard some things about. So I kind of wanted to see it, but it's also one of those genre of films it's like those somewhat low budget indie films that are set in California
In a house.
in a house. Everything takes place in the house,
Right.
and it's all usually also centers around some sort of dinner party, like the movie we talked about recently, Coherence.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Coherence. Yeah.
Same
Similar vibe. Yeah.
Same acting level.
Yes, definitely.
Similar fact that a lot of the characters
None of the-
kind of look similar.
Actors or actresses are really well known, except the older guy, right? He's kind of well known.
Yeah, the guy who played Pruitt. His character's named Pruitt.
Yeah, I've seen him a bit.
Yeah, which
more.
is kind of funny. He was in a movie about the Zodiac Killer
Oh, interesting.
years ago. Not the Zodiac movie, the main one that people have seen that David Fincher did. Another one, I think it was called The Zodiac Killer, and he played the Zodiac Killer.
Okay.
So maybe he likes those kind of roles.
Anyway, same vibe as the menu in the fact that at the beginning, you know immediately that something's going to go wrong at this dinner party because it starts out where they hit a wolf.
Wolf?
And a wolf? A fox?
Wolf.
Wolf.
Rebecca, Wolfhaven? No, he hits like a coyote. It's a coyote.
Coyote.
Or a coyote.
Coyote.
Yeah.
A yodi.
No one calls them yotes.
I do.
Some people call them coyotes.
Yote.
All right, anyway.
All right. Anyway,
It's a weird thing, but
he's going with his girlfriend to this dinner party.
Yeah.
And he has to basically put the yodi
He puts it out of its misery.
out of its misery. So that vibe alone tells you that
Well,
something,
if you're taking notes,
something's not
as we
gonna
do, because we usually take notes when we watch our.
No, we
night before
don't. We
movies.
never do.
If you're taking notes, then you know that something that happens within the first 2 minutes of a movie,
It's foreshadow.
that it's like, all right, we're going to let you know this is kind of thematically
Yeah,
irrelevant.
where we're going.
Yeah, it's relevant to where we're going.
Yeah, of course.
But it's one of those things like the whole time the lead actor guy is named Logan Marshall Green. He plays a guy named Will.
Mm-hmm.
He's the father / ex-husband,
Yeah.
but he's like the stoic type who just seems weird and awkward amongst everybody in the dinner party.
Yeah.
And so it's good, but it's one of those things where, because I think at like 10 or 20 minutes in, I was like, hey, are you into this yet? And you're like, I'm kind of there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
It's-
getting there.
All the characters, it's one of those things where you can tell they're not quite meshing.
Yeah, they're all not quite meshing. And it's so, to me, personally unbelievable in the sense where, like, first of all, I'm like, you haven't seen you got an invitation to your ex-wife. This is your house that you have not been in 2 years where your son died. And you're just going to go to this dinner party and bring a girlfriend. And it seemed a little, and then as soon as it's weird and awkward, which it is immediately, like there's just things that you're just like, okay, it's time to leave. Like if any of those awkward, uncomfortable situations and I had brought a person I cared about, I would kind of be like, you know what? Maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
Like just like the door when he like locks the door and he's kind of paranoid about it. I'm like, yeah, if I'm paranoid and I'm like, I don't have to be there. I would leave.
Yeah. But they do introduce the one character who does want to leave after a while, saying everything's a little too weird for
And
her.
I was like, that's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I related to her.
I mean, obviously you don't have a movie if he leaves.
Well, they start talking about sex and they play like a game, like
yeah,
I
like
want.
this want desires game.
And she was like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm leaving.
Which I mean, it sets up. Well, I guess
not
what's the
what I
only tough
want.
part is there's not enough other characters in there
that are willing to
that are
call
like,
it
hey,
out.
this is weird. Everybody
This
else
is
is
a
like,
little
well, it's kind of the
odd.
process of grief. Everybody's kind of at this point.
And one of the guys said, this is LA. Like, people are weird. People are into weird things. Like,
Well, because the
they're
host,
so,
the
right.
ex-wife and her new boyfriend, fiance, husband, or whoever,
whatever.
they have come back from like a retreat
In
Mexico.
Or being there for a while.
That's where they've been for 2 years. And they brought some new strangers with them that have kind of opened their eyes up to
New ways of living.
happiness and new ways of living and dealing with grief and all that. So then, and I think that's about maybe we won't go too far because again, I don't think we need to talk about how it ends,
No.
but because ultimately it's a movie about just like coming to terms with your grief, the loss of a child.
Right.
It's really what it's all about.
Absolutely. Yeah. And how that affects the people around you, how it affects your relationship, how it affects your friendships,
Yeah.
how it affects everything.
And so I think like the first half you're watching it and you're like, everything's a little awkward, everything's a little tense. But I think like apart from maybe some of the casting, the folks who've been casted don't necessarily do the best job, kind of like coherence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think at its core, there's like the direction's really good, the filmmaking's good, so it keeps you in enough. But for us, for me at least, and then I think you too, and I mean, because you only go two routes when it's like weird dinner party. The trailer hints at it could be weird sex stuff, sex orgy,
Right.
and even there's a little bit at the beginning of the movie. Or the other route is, oh no, or it's a cult movie.
Right.
And it's like, oh no, this is about a cult. This is an invitation.
Invitation.
Or the third thing, or it can be a vampire movie.
Right. It could.
And at one point, it was funny, right? You were like,
I'm like the main actress,
Tammy Blanchard, who plays Eden, his ex-wife.
I'm like, her teeth kind of look like vampire-ish.
Well, she's walking around and
she
like
has a really weird look.
Yeah, I think that's kind of her look.
I know it's her look. That's how she looks in general, normal. But her look to me was annoying.
Well, she's kind of pale.
She
had her
she
hair,
has this like weird smile thing.
but she had the long, straight brown hair parted like directly in the middle, so you have that hard part in the middle of your head. And she's wearing a silky white dress, gown in the movie, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All of it, when you like look at her pointed teeth.
Yeah, you're like,
and
is
you're
she
like,
is this gonna turn vampire?
That was one thing I said. This better not be a vampire movie. Wow, this is weird. We're at a second brewery, and there's dogs here. That is weird. Coincidence, I guess.
You know.
Freak occurrence.
Freak occurrence.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, again, dogs.
Sometimes
love
lightning strikes in the same spot twice.
Dogs love breweries.
They do, don't they?
They love being confined.
Stuck to one spot, not being able to move around.
Shells on the ground. That's why they watch their owners drink beer. Anyway.
But when you said something about vampire teeth, I was like, oh God, this better not be a vampire movie. And that point, she was also introducing the idea of acceptance. Somehow like this vague talk of living forever, like free of
guilt.
And sadness.
Grief. Yeah.
You let it go. You embrace this new life. So you're like, oh no.
Is this vampire-ish? Because her teeth look vampire-ish.
So it could go three ways: vampire, sex orgy, or weird cult recruiting.
And you quickly realize it's weird cult recruiting.
Yeah, and they jump to that. For the first time, they all sit around the living room. It's like, oh, hey, let me show you this weird cult video. You want to know what we were doing in Mexico? Let us show you. We've all invited you here for this invitation.
And the main character feels weirded out by it. He's like, he's kind of rolling his eyes and like, oh my God, I can't believe she's gotten into this. But
he instantly jumps to like crazy death cult. Everybody else jumps to like, well, it's how they deal with grief.
A lot of people are into stuff like this.
Yeah, everybody has weird feelings about.
But he automatically gets paranoid and kind of like not paranoid, but suspicious of what they're really up to as far as the cult and whatnot and why they're there, and starts kind of noticing things going on that make him paranoid, but he's kind of being what's the word? They're making him feel like he's being paranoid and crazy.
Yeah.
When he's really not, you know?
Well, could the movie have done a better job of like that gaslighting vibe of like, oh, you're crazy, calm down? It's like, yeah, it could have done that. I mean, I also think his suspicious nature
Because at
was
some
a
point
little
he's even like apologizing
a little
for
thick.
his behavior.
The movie was better when it was flip flopping back and forth, and he's like, you know what, I'm overreacting. You know what, I need to.
I'm just having trouble with this grief.
Yeah.
And you're right. I need to. Because, he's apologizing for his suspicion and, they make him feel like he's being ungrateful
Yeah.
for being there.
There just seemed to be a little lack of compassion from his friends.
Yeah.
You know what also reminded me of, and I don't think we podcasted about this movie. What was it called? I Hate All My Friends, or All My Friends Hate Me.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yes.
It's that
Yes.
same thing. He shows up to the house.
Mhm.
This happens in England somewhere.
Yeah.
He shows up,
I know what you're talking about, but.
and
yeah.
he's kind of had weird mental, right?
Right.
And he suspects something's weird, and everybody else like you're being
It's fine.
irrational, and then it turns out like he
He was right.
his suspicions are right. It reminded me
Yeah,
of
I
that
remember
movie a
that.
lot too. That newer film.
Yeah, his friends definitely didn't have compassion for the fact that he's just entered the home that he shared with her.
Yeah, they're giving Eden so much grace. Like, look, and yeah, she's a little wacky. Yeah, she's a little like.
Whatever, but this is the way she deals with her grief.
Yeah.
But they're not giving him any grace for this.
But
is
they're
the way
like,
he's.
bro, buck up. Why are you being so somber and sad?
Yeah, what are we being a party pooper?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Even his girlfriend is kind of she keeps they keep going off from each other. And,
Well, they don't spend. I think they spend the equivalent of like 6 minutes together the entire night at the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's weird because she doesn't really know anybody.
Yeah. No, she doesn't know any of these people.
And he's dealing with all this emotional trauma, basically.
Yeah, I don't know if it's to the credit of the movie or not. It was kind of nice that there was no sexual tension subplot at all.
True. There was
Right?
not.
She didn't have any like ex-wife.
And if you watch the trailer, you think there is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they can make it set up like, oh, okay, this is an invitation
Like
for
the
like,
ex-wife is going to start hitting on him and whatnot. It seems
Yeah.
like that.
or that the girlfriend's gonna be jealous, the ex-wife's
Or
gonna
that
be
weird-
like you said,
That
going after
weird,
him.
awkward girl
There's the weird girl from
from
Mexico.
the cult.
Yeah.
She's really weird. And
Yeah, there's
awkward,
one weird scene,
looking.
but that I think is that scene almost seemed a little out of place.
Yeah.
And it was a bit unclear if that was something he imagined or.
Right. If he was just imagining that while he was
But regardless of
Somewhere
whether
else.
it was reality or not, that scene seemed a little
out of place
misplaced.
in the movie. Yeah.
There might have been more that got cut, but maybe that should have been cut too. I didn't think that part was,
necessary.
or I guess to show some of his resistance to the temptation of it. I don't know.
Or his just ultra awareness of, and everybody else's just acceptance of.
Right, but here's what
uncomfortable
the movie.
nature.
Here's the most triggering part of the movie, right? We don't need to go into any stories. Either one of us, but it's that I think what it really triggers down watching it is you go to some sort of dinner party of people you don't know super well or haven't seen in a long time, right? That's the most horrifying part of this. And you're all sitting in the living room or sitting around just being pleasant, chatting, reminiscing, sharing a drink or whatnot. And then it turns to like agenda. Here's
Right.
here's the reason why you're all here.
Yeah.
I don't care whether it's selling a cult, religious fellowship,
Whatever.
selling
it
blue
is.
jeans and Tupperware.
You're being blindsided.
Yeah.
And that's when I would have left right
It's
then.
like that's the movie, like being
That's why I
lulled
kept
into
saying,
something under false pretense.
Every 5 minutes of the movie, I was like, oh no, I would have left right then.
I want to see that movie where you're just like struggling with like, all right, can I just go? Should we leave? Should we stay? When is
and
this
is
going to
it
be
that
over?
hard to say I just want to leave?
I wanna be
it wasn't for the
polite.
girl when the sex stuff started coming up. She
Oh, it
like,
was. Like our main character guy, Will stood up and was like, let her leave.
Just let her go. Just let her go.
But yeah. So anyway, that to me was the scariest part. It's like, oh yeah, you don't want to get lulled into these weird dinner parties where like
Yeah.
they want to talk or explore weird things, or not
Yeah.
even weird things, just things you're not into.
Right. Or they're assuming you're going to be.
Like, I don't need to hear about this
And when you're
hand
an
cream.
adult,
that-
you should make the choice to
Yeah.
be subjected to things
I know
like
you
that.
have really good dinner knives, but
I don't care about them. I don't want to buy them. I don't want to join your cult.
that was the other thing. I'll say this. I wish not a lot about. I was a little confused about just this cult in general. Like, I couldn't quite. A lot of times you can see the logic. Like, okay, I understand what this cult's selling and offering.
Well,
This one I struggled a bit more, or just their reason for having to invite everybody over and all that. Like,
yeah, I don't really understand why they had to invite everyone over, but the concept of the cult was to go be with the loved ones that you're grieving over.
yeah, of course,
eventually.
yeah.
And maybe you get everyone together to join you. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah, it's howing. I mean, yeah, the appeal of the cult, I guess, was to learn how to let go of trauma.
And then in the end, you end up with the people
Yeah.
because they're, yeah,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
right.
I don't know. I thought the invitation was pretty good.
It's okay. Yeah.
okay.
I mean, it's okay. There was too much annoying stuff about it to me.
Well, okay, annoying. Go.
The main character, Tammy, she was an annoying actress. Eden. Yeah. I didn't like her acting. I think she was like.
I thought she was good, but see, here's the thing. I thought she was good by the end. I didn't like her when she had this like fake happiness facade on.
Yeah.
By the end, she was a little more. She had shed a lot of that.
I liked.
So I thought she was better that way.
I liked the main character's girlfriend. I looked up her name.
Yeah, but she didn't really even do much.
But I also thought it was so unrealistic how like okay with everything she was. I mean, not
That's what
that
I mean.
she's
She
supposed
just
to be
didn't have-
jealous. Emma Yahtzee.
She didn't have
is her
much
name.
voice.
And I'm like, if I was a girlfriend being brought to something like this, as soon as it seemed so weird and awkward,
The weird-
I
yeah,
would
the
have
weird-
been like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be here with you.
The weird part about her character was she was more annoyed at her boyfriend than she was the people.
people.
And I felt it should have been flip side.
Yeah.
Like, if she truly cared for him, I think she would identify more with the pain and grief he carried.
And then just the fact that it
But
annoyed
she was
me
very dismissive
how,
of
like
his,
we
yeah.
already said, how unsympathetic everyone was about.
But then with
the
everybody
guy,
else. Yeah, she
you
just
know.
sort of sided with all
But
the
other
others.
than that, I mean, I thought it was interesting the turn it took. I did not like the ending at all.
Well, the ending's cheap. We don't, let's go into it. The ending is just one
Kinda
of those like,
cheapens the whole
oh, this
show.
whole thing is bigger than you think.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was like, whenever they do that, it always feels like tacked on at the end. It's like not necessary.
I didn't think that was necessary. I think they could have ended it
And in some ways,
differently.
it's better if you're like, oh no, this is just isolated to this house.
But
it's
I did
scarier.
like-
It's scarier when it's a smaller thing
You know,
versus a
I
bigger
love a cult movie.
thing. I know.
I love a cult
That's what I mean. This felt like the cult movie without the cult.
So there were aspects of the movie I liked. It kept my attention.
Well, I think that's what got us to sit up straight in the Lazy Boys. We have like the twin Lazy Boys that we both sit in when we watch our movies, and it was like
We do.
90-degree angle. Let's go.
People are gonna think we're 80. It did keep my attention.
Yeah,
And
that's what got us in.
I thought the main character and his girlfriend were both like the most gorgeous couple. I mean, he was very good looking. She was very good looking. They were like a gorgeous couple. So that was nice to look at.
The Will guy,
Yeah.
the one who looks whatever they said, he looked
Yeah. I thought he was
roughed
good
and
looking.
clean like a dirty dish rag or something.
Yeah, but he didn't. I thought he was good looking, and his girlfriend was good looking. She was the
Well, that's why
prettiest
they
one
go-
of the girls.
Yeah.
And so, not that that means anything, but that was,
Okay, so
there's not a lot I loved about it, though.
it's 6 months from now. Right now, the invitation's streaming on Peacock. That's where we saw it. But it's 6 months from now. Both films are readily available to stream. The menu.
Which one do you choose to
the
watch again? You
invitation.
know I don't like watching movies
No, but
over
which
and
one?
over
Which
again.
one does someone watch? Not even, or never watched. See, they got the decision. I got to watch a the plus noun movie. What do I go with?
The Invitation.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Even though it seemed like we're more down on the Invitation
I
than we were the
know,
Menu.
it does, but
I think the Invitation's the better movie.
if someone said, listen, I want to watch one of these movies again with you, I would be like, okay, let's watch The Invitation
Yeah.
again.
Yo, so you have someone over, they're like, hey, I love the Menu and the Invitation podcast.
Let's watch one of them.
I got to watch one of those with you.
The Invitation.
We're like, let's do the Invitation.
I don't want to do the Menu again.
You know why, too? Here's why. The Menu,
It's so absurd.
no.
Oh.
You want to keep guessing?
It's what I do.
The Menu is a mean movie.
It's so mean.
And I'm all for satire. I'm all for, you know me, I'm like, eat the rich. That's what I'm about, right?
Is it? Is it what you're about?
Down with society. Eat the rich is what people
Sound
say,
like my
right?
19-year-old.
Yeah. But- so you know me. All kidding aside. I'm down with the satire and like knocking the elite like
Right.
down, whatever. That's fine. But movies that are just feel mean-spirited,
It did feel really mean-spirited.
it just felt not, everything has to be like sunshine and rainbows, because The Invitation I feel is a much darker movie. Much darker than The Menu is. The Menu is dark
guess-
satire.
Even though it was a cult and it was LA and all that, it still seemed like more relatable.
Oh, it was
These
100%
people are going
relatable.
through grief. The people are more normal people that you can relate to.
Yeah.
Um,
And maybe that's, again, like you said before, the pig.
The Menu
pig
is not
versus
relatable
the menu.
at all.
No, it's again like
you
high
don't relate
dining,
with
high
the,
fans.
you don't. I
like,
don't relate with the escort lady. I don't
no.
relate to the people who have
But I'm saying
millions and millions
even
of dollars.
her in that movie, Margot, as she went by, she was even mean-spirited.
Mm-hmm.
She's a mean-spirited person.
Yeah, I mean, she's
She has a huge chip on her shoulder and all that. So I think that's ultimately why I think you're right. The Invitation is the pick because there's something we can all, I think everyone can connect with.
grasp onto. Mm-hmm.
And though it might be a dark, unsettling film, it's not mean in its core. It's like searching for like human,
A message. It's
not
talking
even-
about grief,
but not even a message. It's just like just human emotion.
which
human
we
core,
all
yeah.
encounter.
Though
right?
there's human emotion in the Menu and like losing joy and love for that which you want, is just, it comes off not even like tongue-in-cheek at the end, or even like,
It's just slap you in the face.
it's just like, now go eat the rest of your popcorn, fat ass. See you later.
Yeah.
Hope you liked it.
Yeah.
The Menu. Out. That's
Drop the mic.
that's what it said at the end.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like I said, they were both mediocre movies.
Yeah.
But
It felt like a mean-spirited joke.
I'm glad I saw them both.
No, again, do I like we said before we'd recommend the Menu.
But I definitely see The Invitation again before I saw the Menu again.
Yeah, well, The Invitation turned to be the better movie of the night.
Yeah, for sure.
Surprisingly.
For sure.
The low budget. No Ralph Fiennes.
No.
The Invitation.
Yeah.
0 vampires.
No vampires. Even though we thought that's the way it was going.
The
It's just
Invitation.
her teeth. She's
The
got nice
Invitation.
sharp teeth.
0 vampires.
0.
All right.
Because the new Invitation 2022,
It's
I
all
think,
vampires.
is vampires. But we're not
No,
talking
we watched
about
both
that
trailers. No,
Invitation.
but you saw the
Yeah,
trailer.
Yeah.
But that's one of those narrative trailers. Watch the trailer for 2022's The Invitation.
You've seen the movie.
You've seen the whole thing, and you know what? I haven't seen it, but I'm
There's
going
a
to
Yelper.
spoil it.
There's a Yelper.
I haven't seen it, but I swear the
You know what's going to
woman who takes the invitation, I guarantee she wins and beats the vampires.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, it's woman power for sure.
Yeah. So anyway, all right, my sour's way gone. You're still
No,
halfway
I'm
there,
halfway.
so we should need to wrap up because it's a longer one.
Okay. This was good.
Yeah, that's fun.
This is a cool place, too.
Yeah, it's still good. And look, it looks like they're still taking food orders.
Are you hungry?
No.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, cheers. Then bye.
Bye.